Coronavirus obviously has created a global state of uncertainty.
I think we're going to be having a mental health crisis now.
COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
Normality, as it was before, will not come back full on until we get a vaccine for this.
It's important to recognize both the immediate and the long-term impacts that this pandemic can have on people's mental health.
There are different phases of mental health distress that one experiences at different points in a pandemic. The other differences that probably distinguish it from other disasters would be the level of self-isolation, physical distancing, travel restrictions.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are tuning in. My name is Jonathan Torres-Herrera, and you are watching or listening to the JTH show. Today, let's discuss the fact that it appears that Parler might be pushing out Twitter, plant-based McDonald's, and researchers link COVID to mental illness. Interesting. But first, roll the intro. All right, and for those of you guys watching on YouTube, as a general reminder, remember you can watch this episode and any other episode we've ever uploaded on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. For those of you guys already listening on there, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And you know what else I would appreciate is if you take 2 seconds to just hit that like button. I would really, really, really appreciate you. All right, and with that, let's jump into the first story. And that is an article that I found on Forbes. And it was interesting because of the headline, of course. And that is 1 in 5 COVID patients diagnosed with a mental illness within the first 3 months of testing positive, study finds. Now, that when you just read the article, right away you're like, whoa, hold on, right? Jesus Christ. I mean, on top of everything else that COVID is already doing to the world, in fact, we also know of some of the side effects of, getting COVID and then recovering from it, like possible scar tissue that is left on the lungs and stuff like that. Now we have to worry about it somehow messing, with your insides in a way that you can potentially fall victim to some kind of mental illness. Yes, that appears to be the case. Now I'll read a little bit of the article to give you guys a bit more context. And that is saying, in another worrying set of findings for the long-term impact of COVID-19, a new peer-reviewed study has confirmed reported links between psychiatric illness and COVID-19, with nearly 1 in 5 COVID-19 patients developing a mental illness within 3 months of the testing positive for the virus, and those with pre-existing mental conditions being 65% more likely to be diagnosed with COVID-19, even accounting for other risk factors. There's a whole bunch of points to put on there for you, which I will leave there for you guys to read in the description, on YouTube. But I gotta say this, right? I immediately did my general steps of trying to research this and saying, okay, hold on, who else is reporting this? What other research? And to be fair, I didn't find anything recent, but I did find some of the clips that you guys saw at the beginning of this video where, some doctors are saying, hey, listen, there might be a sort of byproduct effect of being under this whole lockdown and being secluded or isolated, and not being able to see loved ones that might provoke some episodes, right? For either people that are already experiencing or know and they're aware that they have some kind of mental disorder or illness rather, or just people developing it, period, right? Including things like depression, hard depression, right? Is a real thing, right? And it's, and some experts debate it whether it's just chemically something that happens in your body, and it's all due to something you were born with, or you actually develop it due to something, traumatic, right? I would argue, honestly, that maybe both. In this case, COVID, or at least, again, going back to what the experts say, the byproduct of COVID and the pandemic is the fact that, we can feel lonely. We can feel out of our normal routine. And a lot of us, it's what makes us feel human. We are creatures of habit. And, going through the motions of what we're used to is kind of what keeps us sane. In fact, sure, are those people that they were already kind of hermits, I'm sorry. And, they're kind of like, already in their shell, and they never really left. So they're like, hey, I'm happy, where I'm at. I really don't even, what pandemic, in fact. Yeah, sure. There's going to be people that feel that way, but I don't think that's the vast majority of people, right? Now, I'm really hoping here that it's, not a situation where COVID, after is in your body, it actually messes with your mind in a way where it provokes some kind of reaction, inside your body that, throws off your hormones to the point where you do end up with some, mental illness. I really just hope that is just something that we're experiencing again, like it is believed, because of being isolated and stuff like that. Because otherwise, Jesus, COVID is already scary as it is, right? We don't really need one more thing. But I figured I brought that piece of information over to you. And with that, let's move on to the next story. And that is major fast food chains are doing big menu changes. Yeah, including McDonald's. So there was a couple articles that I came across, one on the International Business Times and then another on the BBC. So we'll first start with the Business Times. Their headline, again, reads 5 fast food restaurants offering vegan meat from Pizza Hut to McDonald's. Yep, you're hearing that correctly. So according to the article, it's very extensive. They have a lot of details, but essentially they're saying Pizza Hut, White Castle, McDonald's, Burger King, and Carl's Jr., I guess, are jumping into this mix, which is now, it feels like it's a race to see who can be the healthiest in a way, or the healthier option for those people that normally don't visit those establishments. Now, here's something that immediately came to mind, right? Especially after my researcher / writer, we're discussing the article. I told him, when he asked me, hey, what's your initial, reaction to this? I'm like, listen, these establishments, okay, they're not known to, for being nonprofits, like a church or something, or they're doing it for the good of the people. Let's be honest. These places are corporations. Let's not, mix up things here. They are for their margins, and for that matter, their financial margins, not necessarily if you're happy. They're not necessarily, they're worried that if you're, oh, look at the margins on so or communities not being happy with our restaurants. Yeah, sure. Yeah, publicly that might be what they say, right? They might say, oh yeah, we always use our metrics to see how happy people are. Sure. No, their main metric, their main margin is seeing where they're at with their financials. Now, with that said, I will say that, what I see here, going back to what I was telling my guy is, this is just a way for them to try to like grab and reach out for a group of people that normally are not their biggest fans, right? Again, if we're gonna keep on track of being honest here, these establishments, right, normally serve communities where people are sometimes paying for their food with government assistance, like EBT cards and stuff like that. A lot of the times, they're serving communities where there is a large homeless population, right? Where, if you have your average homeless that makes a few bucks a day, what are they doing? They're usually going and eating at some of these locations, right? So I don't know that, they're necessarily going for the image of being the healthier option. Again, maybe through their marketing and press releases, sure, that's what they're saying. But in fact, I think that ultimately what can happen here is that they're going to alienate their best customers. And their best customers, I mean, no disrespect, are not the people that are most concerned with their health, right? And again, I insist, I don't think that these establishments are worried about making sure that their best customers are now healthy. I just don't buy it. I'm sorry, I don't. Are they going maybe with, the current trends and stuff like that of offering, like in this case, literally, as the BBC put it, a plant-based burger, just to say that they have one? It's kind of what I think, right? It's one of those things where I feel like it's disingenuous, right? Some of these places already have, quote unquote, healthier options. Although arguably some people would say, yeah, it's not necessarily as healthy as they say it is, right? Some of these salads offered by these places are actually more unhealthier than actually just getting the damn burger itself, right? But they are there again for those patrons that walk in and they don't want a burger, they want a salad. Okay, they're there, so their healthy options are there, right? But I almost feel like these establishments, these corporations, they insist on trying to be as in touch with communities and woke or whatever it is that they're trying to connect to, right? To again grab more of the market. And as a business owner, I'm like, well, that's smart, JT. What are you complaining about? And as a person, as a just everyday Joe, I'm like, what a load of crap, because let's be honest, you really picture that any of these healthier, extremely healthy options, plant-based options are going to be inexpensive like it is now to go, an example, if you go and get a burger at McDonald's or Burger King for like $1.50. No, in fact, we found that the Impossible Whopper, and for those of you guys you're like, what the hell is an Impossible Whopper? Well, it's something like anything that is essentially made with the non-traditional ingredients, right? That you have an example like the Whopper, but you make it with just a plant-based or something. Again, the healthy choices, options, ingredients, whatever, it's called Impossible, right? Which then, by the way, leads me down another rabbit hole, and I'm thinking, Impossible Pizza, interesting, because, well, yeah, while you can have maybe the dough be animal free and stuff like that, and really healthy, there's a couple more ingredients on the pizza that are going to be hard to make impossible, as they say, extremely healthy. And that is pretty much every other ingredient in the pizza. So whatever, right? It just, makes you wonder, are we really going to eat the plant-based, or are we going to be eating, worse? But okay, going back to the Impossible Whopper. Normally it retails for about $5.50, which, it's not, I guess, too crazy when you see it on itself. Of course, that doesn't include taxes and everything else you might get, whether it be soda, iced tea, or whatever, and then whatever side you're going to get, right? So you're looking at probably an $8 or $9 meal, which we found that is actually about $1.40 more expensive. Now you're like, sorry, dude, $1.40 is not that bad for a healthier choice. And that is if you only think about yourself. But if you're thinking of who else visits these establishments, I think immediately of people like me. Not just literally me, but people like me who have kids, who have families. And while we are not regular, patrons of any of these establishments, in the sense of we eat there daily or something, we eat there often enough where I'm like $1.40, even if we go there maybe once or twice a month, times, it's me and my family of 5, or family of, 5 with me, whatever. But, I'm like, okay, whatever, make them happy. Okay, so I'm thinking we're going to spend another, $20-ish, taxes and all that applied. Okay. Just to eat healthier. Again, I want to argue semantics here. Some people will be like, dude, come on, no brainer, just do it. Some people will be like, are you serious? And how healthy, again, are these options, right? So there's definitely a lot to really, I don't know, think about when these, franchises or whatever are going out there and saying, come here, give us our money, we are the healthier choice. Of course, the U.S. is one of the leading countries when it comes to the whole vegan movement. And it looks like, while this will be their concentration, or the market where they concentrate, rather, this whole thing, they are eventually going to be moving over to Europe, right? And seeing how it takes there. Now, I always wonder how it's going to take in places where I know people don't normally eat the healthiest, like Mexico, because we don't. I mean, I don't go to Mexico and thinking, you know what I want? I really want one of them bigger burgers. No, I don't. You know what I go to Mexico for? I'm like, I really want tacos. That's what I really go for, right? But anyways, it'll be really interesting, right, to see where this goes. A couple more bullets here that we gathered. The U.S. has seen an average of about a 600 increase over the last few years when it comes to the whole healthy vegan movement, right? So, we'll see. We'll see how popular this remains. And with that, let's move on to our last topic, and that is, will Parler be the new Twitter? Yeah. Okay. So let's start with the small clip that I have for you guys out of a Fox Business interview that one of their anchors did with John Mates, which is the CEO and founder of Parler. Nods, roll it.
All right, making a buzz this morning. Apple's #1 app store download is Parler. Joining us right now is the founder of Parler, John Mates. John, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on being the #1 downloadable app on the Apple Store.
Thank you. Yeah, this is amazing. We're seeing 40x on. We're seeing 40x on our sessions. We're seeing massive amounts of user activity on the app. It's really kind of exploding, and I think people are really just fed up with what's going on Twitter and Facebook and these other places that are really cracking down and trying to just interfere, I guess, with what people are trying to talk about during this time. What we're seeing is just people are really trying to go somewhere where they have trust in the platform. I feel that they don't have trust anymore in these other places. And so what they're saying is, look, we know we can speak freely. We know you guys believe in what, our right to free speech and our rights to, basically say what we need to say. And that's really why there's this boots on the ground movement to transition to a new place for them to communicate with one another.
Okay, so very interesting short interview that you can catch on Fox News if you want to catch the whole thing there. But essentially, a key takeaway there is, something that John said, which is people are fed up with Twitter. They want free speech on social media platforms, and it's very true. Now, some of you guys, if you guys are new here, you can catch this video, and for some of you guys that saw it, the video where I cover, the whole Senate meeting that they had recently with the tech CEOs, right? And there was a lot of conversation around censoring, right? Specifically with Twitter. Now, some of you guys might have not seen the Ted Cruz grilling of the Twitter CEO. Let's watch that real quick.
Who the hell elected you and put you in charge of what the media are allowed to report and what the American people are allowed to hear? And why do you persist in behaving as a Democratic super PAC, silencing views to the contrary of your political beliefs?
Let's get. Well, we're not doing that, and this is why I opened this hearing with calls for more transparency. We realize we need to earn trust more. We realize that more accountability is needed to show our intentions and to show the outcomes.
Thank you, Senator.
So I hear the concerns and acknowledge them, but we want to fix it with more transparency.
Now there we have a Jack, right, who very, very calmly and everything he responded to Ted Cruz, and he's like, yeah, I know I'm being grilled here, but it's not necessarily like that. We're not necessarily trying to grill, even after he's being told, who the hell elected you? Which is a thing that it's gaining a lot of traction, right? It's becoming more and more popular with many groups. No, it's not just conservatives. For those of you guys watching and maybe telling me, oh, it's because you're talking about conservatives that want to spill and spread misinformation. No, hold on. There has been many instances of people, that don't really claim either a political party or any hardcore beliefs, and they just feel like, hey, my video was taken down. I see it all the time, and I see it on different platforms, right? Hey, I don't even know why this video was taken down or this picture was taken down. I've seen different people, both that I know and that I don't, on Instagram, on Facebook, which I know it's owned by the same company, but still, Twitter, TikTok, saying, hey, I'm not sure why this is taken down, but here it is again. And, the question is why, right? What is going on behind the scenes? Now, in that video that I mentioned to you guys, I share whether, it's maybe directly the CEO impacting these changes and saying, hey, take that down, censor this person, block, blah, blah, blah. Or if we're going to be more honest and realistic, it's really just the people help design some of these systems, right? That are, biased to some viewpoints, and they're like, I don't like this person, censor this person, block that person. Oh my God, do we do that? Now you say, JT, now you're entering the realm of conspiracies. Well, hold on. Easy there, because there's been many instances. In fact, if you go back yourself and watch that Senate committee meeting, Jack himself says, we kind of took down one of the New York Post, articles or whatever it was. Oops. But we changed our policy. So that definitely tells you that, these companies are not ran by these flawless individuals that, again, don't have any biases. Of course they have their biases, right? And sometimes they are forced to come out and admit, like, oops, yep, we kind of messed up there, right? YouTube not long ago had something where a big creator of theirs kind of pointed out that another creator was flagged for having allegedly violated some of the terms of service. And he's like, hey, I showcased the same video. I hate that I remember their names. But the point is that later on, YouTube is like, at the beginning, it's like, oh yeah, sorry we didn't catch that. Boom, you've been flagged too. And then later there was like a big uproar, and then they're like, oh, no, never mind. We shouldn't have done that, right? It was just very interesting, right? And why is this happening? Again, I just cannot shake the idea that it's because they're being ran by trusted individuals within these companies, maybe, high-ranking officials, maybe director plus individuals that are, sitting there saying, I have this power. And what have I said before, right? Even of the new soon-to-be president. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. So when you have these individuals feeling they have absolute power over who they can censor and who they don't have to censor and all that stuff, I'm sorry. I don't know that I cannot sit there and be like, I wonder if it's just because you've censored that person because you just don't like them, or if it's because it's popular not to like them, right? So currently, Parler, allegedly, right, according to this also very interesting article, and I'll just read the headline out of abc13.com. They say, Parler, new social media platform with no fact-checking, rises in popularity. Now, if you know what that is for, that's because allegedly Parler, they're much more easier on the whole fact-checking and stuff like that. They have community guidelines. They definitely do if you go check it out for yourself. But, according to ABC 13, no fact-checking. They are also rising immensely in popularity. Like I said earlier, they're at a point where, as they're recording this video, right, they reach number 1 in the Apple Store and in the Google Store. So what is that telling you? That is telling you that, many people, it doesn't take 1 or 2 to rise to the number 1 of Google or Apple Store, right? Takes quite a bit of people downloading your application. They're tired, right? They're tired of feeling like I'm going to post something and this may or may not get flagged and taken down, or just the communities that have unfortunately been built and almost empowered won't just like, oh, flag me. I don't like you. Flag me. In fact, before I close out the show, I'm going to share something real quickly with you guys. Recently, I lost my Instagram account. Some of you guys follow me there already. You can verify this yourself, unless by the time you're watching this, somehow it has been magically restored. All I did is rename my account from Jonathan Torres-Herrera, right, on my Instagram account to just the JTH show, right, to keep in loop with everything else that I renamed, my Twitter and everything. Well, it was taken down. It's gone. I can no longer get into it. In fact, many people that follow me, they're like, dude, where did you go? Some people are like, dude, is it because you posted some of your clips that you're always posting on your reels and stuff like that? And what did you do? I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. I know that before I lost Instagram, I was getting played with in the sense of getting Reels ability and then losing Reels ability. Getting Reels ability, losing Reels ability. And that it is opposed to Reels, by the way, if you know what I'm talking about, which is like the TikTok equivalent on Instagram. That was kind of weird. And then all of a sudden, boom, the application was gone completely. No email, no nothing. Now, of course, a lot of these platforms run with the idea, right? Like maybe you've heard of the case of Dr. Disrespect and Twitch, where they don't have to tell you why. Because they're gods of their own application and they don't need to tell you jack. They want you, they'll leave you there. They don't want you, you're gone. Which again, backs up what I'm saying here with Parler and what they're saying that they're going to really, really try not to do, right? Now, to be fair, Parler is brand new. They were established this year, according to a quick Google search that I did. It already has 2.8 million users. Among those users are some controversial figures to some, like Sean Hannity, Stephen Crowder, Jordan Peterson, and Newt Gingrich. Now, they're controversial because most of the people that I just mentioned lean right? They're more on the conservative side of politics. So many people are like, that's why Parler is going to be, a poisonous place or a place where, unless you're a conservative, you're going to be, squashed or ridiculed or whatever. Which I would then say, I don't know, because it almost feels the same way with platforms that are still out there and that have been out there for many years. Platforms that are forums, right? Like Reddit and 4chan. Now, these places have been up again for many, many years, but, they pretty much allow all types of different discussions, right? And often they're not really fact-checked. Forums are closed, but they're not really fact-checked. Right. And again, they're very popular and they're still up. The thing here is that unlike Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, forum and Reddit are more, long form use. Right. You're sitting there, you're reading through comments, it's a conversation, again, in a more forum structure versus like a tweet where you're just, first of all, so many characters. Right, so many types of attachments. They're sent out. They're out to the world, right? Or even on Facebook, right? And some are just easier to maneuver on your mobile because they're mobile first. Versus again, Reddit, 4chan is something that you sit down and you follow a discussion and you contribute. You add another reply, sort of thing. Parler is I would say one of the applications that's like, hey, we're gonna take some of the aspects, of both worlds. Right, not really going to right off the bat suppress the voice of those people that feel that they're oppressed, and at the same time, we're not gonna just be another Reddit or 4chan and be a forum kind of structure. We're gonna be more of a Twitter structure. It's very interesting, right? I'm certainly on there. I'll tell you that right now already. I want to see kind of what happens. I try to jump on every social media platform. It's interesting, to see kind of like how it behaves, how I accept it myself, how I adapt to it. It's definitely very interesting. But that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoy the show, and until next time, see ya. Hey, thanks for watching the JTH show. Remember, you can catch all the episodes, full episodes, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. You can also visit www.thejthshow.com to catch episodes there and to catch anything that we had to blur out because of YouTube or any other platform. We usually put all of our raw information in there that is uncensored. You can also become a member at www.thejthshow.com to catch all the special perks. Thanks for watching.